Behind locked doors and along 53 miles of shelving, the Vatican guards more than dusty pages. It guards stories the world was never meant to see. If a sitting pope ever chose to pry open every vault, this quiet city could turn into the most contested pilgrimage on earth. Picture a single priceless volume, the Codex Vaticanus, one of the earliest near-complete Bibles. If disaster struck and only one artifact could be saved, many scholars would reach for that book first. Its pages do not match every modern Bible. Some endings are missing, some orders are changed. And that alone hints at choices made long ago about which words would shape faith for centuries. Now shift your gaze beneath St. Peter's Basilica. In the 1940s, renovations sent workers downward, and they met a city of the dead. A Roman necropolis stretched out below the basilica, with mausoleums from the 1st century. Among the finds, bone fragments that the Vatican later linked to Peter, the fisherman who became the first bishop of Rome. Inscriptions near the spot whispered, "Peter is here." Yet not every expert agrees. Some say the remains point to several individuals. The debate turns a burial into a fault line. If certainty slips here, what else might be unsettled just a few steps below the altar where millions pray? Could something so monumental be forgotten in plain sight? In Rome, the answer is often yes. Travel east in your mind to the cliffs above the Dead Sea. From 1947 to 1956, shepherds and archaeologists pulled more than 900 manuscripts from the Qumran caves. Among them are some of the oldest versions of the Hebrew Bible we possess. Rumors have long claimed that certain fragments, especially those with bold ideas about messianic figures, never fully saw daylight. Some even whisper that controversial pieces drifted into private hands, perhaps into church collections. There is no hard proof, yet the talk persists, because those scrolls reveal. Today, many pieces sit behind glass. Scholars counter that a portion of what the world sees are medieval replicas. Medieval inventories list more than what is shown now, which sparks a familiar question. If some items vanished from display, did they simply disappear? Or did they slip into quieter rooms behind Vatican walls? The pattern is hard to ignore. Beneath Rome, the necropolis ties the church to its earliest generations. In the desert, the Dead Sea Scrolls point to a more complicated beginning for Christian belief. In Jerusalem, stones and wood claim a tangible link to the Passion. Every line of evidence is preserved, debated, and sometimes kept out of sight. Which brings us to the art that hangs like a second archive on painted plaster and wooden panels. Leonardo's The Last Supper captures a single sentence in time, and it has invited speculation for centuries. Some see the figure to Christ's right, not as John, but as Mary Magdalene. Others map hidden geometry or musical notes across the table. claiming a coded message about roles the Church later diminished. Whether you accept those readings or not, the fascination reveals a deeper truth. Renaissance artists could layer meaning under varnish, and a palace filled with frescoes might double as a library, written in light and color. Step into Raphael's vision of theology in the Disputa. At first, the fresco lifts your eyes to Christ, the Eucharist, and the communion of saints. Look longer, and certain arrangements unsettle the tidy story. Celestial references seem to map the heavens as astronomers of the time knew them. Some figures echo debates the Church preferred to keep within councils and classrooms. It is not proof of defiance. It is proof of a mind. As for what God revealed, I will speak only what I am permitted. Historians wonder whether undisclosed letters and records still rest in drawers that rarely open, threads that might tie prophecy, politics, and sainthood tighter than the public has seen. Go farther back, to Queen Zenobia of Palmyra, scholar and warrior, who stood against Rome until her capture by Aurelian. Fragmentary notes hint at correspondence and administrative records that could illuminate how a powerful woman shaped faith and policy at the edges of empire. If such papers survive, they would complicate a story written mostly by her rivals. The Vatican treasury, seldom open, intensifies the legend. Catalogs confirm sacred vessels, tiaras, and relics beyond counting. Whispers claim even bolder treasures, like pieces of the menorah from the Second Temple, or remnants tied to the Ark of the Covenant. There is no confirmation, only the stubborn persistence of medieval lists and travelers' tales. The mystery endures because the vaults exist, and the Church has every reason to protect what rests inside. For centuries, the index of prohibited books restricted works judged dangerous to faith. Galileo, Bruno, Voltaire, and many more felt the weight of that list. The point was not simply to hide pages, it was to guard a flock. Yet any such effort also shapes memory, and memory becomes history. If copies of certain manuscripts were archived rather than burned, they might still wait where only a handful of readers have access. Stories cling to giant manuscripts as well. The Codex Gigas, the Devil's Bible, lives today in Sweden. Yet rumors say the Vatican once pursued related leaves and copies. Whether true or not, the tale fits the pattern. If a book bends toward heresy or magic, the best way to control its legend is to keep it close or to keep it quiet. It is scripture carved into permanence at a time when creeds were still wet ink. If such a piece survived in the open, how many cousins lie under floors or behind sealed doors, their carvings still sharp, their meanings still fierce. Set the pieces side by side, archives with trial records and papal bulls, a codex that does not match the Bible in your hand, shrouds that tug between science and devotion. lances and nails that carry the weight of empire and myth, frescoes that teach two lessons at once, one for the casual viewer, one for the patient reader. Saints whose bones travel different roads, queens whose letters might change the lighting in entire chapters of history. The same question returns each time. How much of Christianity's physical past has truly been revealed, and how much still rests in vaults, tombs, and painted codes? The Vatican does not simply collect, it curates memory. What appears in daylight is chosen. What stays in shadow might unsettle the story that keeps a billion hearts aligned. Imagine an archivist turning a key. A drawer slides open. Inside, a letter that shifts a date, a signature that changes a lineage, a page that gives a different ending to a familiar gospel scene. No thunder, no trumpet, just a new line that makes the old lines move. This is not a tale of villains. It is a tale of stewardship, control, and the human need to make meaning last. Gold chalices glitter, yet the true treasures are choices. Which voices are preserved? Which images are repainted? Which bones receive a name? Beneath Rome, history sleeps light. Wake it, and the map of the past redraws itself. Leave it dreaming, and the faithful will keep tracing the same pilgrim paths, touching the same stones, and listening for echoes in the halls where art and scripture speak in the same breath. In the end, the Vatican remains what it has always been: a sanctuary, a strong box,